the dark moonlight unveiled tonight. What's up, people? It's your girl Karina, aka I of Karina. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'd like to briefly give you a rundown on Lilith Conjunct the Moon. Yes, so let's get into it. Now let's first start to talk about the appearance, okay? In classical astrology, we don't necessarily use the moon to explain or showcase the appearance, but sometimes the moon can poke itself out, okay? And this can happen in some people who have Lilith conjunct the moon, especially if it's in certain placements, like the first house or the seventh house or the 10th house, right? So the moon energy and the colors of the moon is very silvery, and people who have Lilith conjunct the moon can sometimes have like a silvery undertone to their skin. So they're not necessarily completely warm toned, and even if they are, they might look like they've been like kissed by the moon, if there's any other way to say it. Ooh, that might actually be a really good song title. Or is it cheesy? I don't know. Okay, so the other thing is that the moon's energy is like feminine, and femininity is roundedness, right? It's curvy, you know, like you think of the a mother who holds the baby, everything is round and squishy. And so some types who have Lilith conjunct the moon will showcase that like in their cheeks. They might have very puffy, big cheeks, but then maybe their eyes are more sunken in and narrow, or it might be the other way around, like their eyes might be really big and then their cheeks might be like sunken in like that. And this happens sometimes where you can see that happening, so that silvery tone, and then the back and forth, the push and pull of yang versus yin in their facial features. Now, the thing about Lilith conjunct the moon is that it's all about femininity. This is the ultimate, you know, energy of women, right? And you would think that it would be Venus, but it's actually, when you understand Lilith, Lilith is like the first manifestation of chaotic feminine energy, right? And the moon is our feelings and how we process things emotionally. So when the moon and Lilith come together, this person has the capability of feeling things on a level that is extremely deep. It's almost like down into like a memory of a past life deep. It's so much more unaccessible than your average like third dimensional worlds, and even they may not be able to completely express how intense their feelings are, right? And so it is definitely going to occur when they are around feminine themes, right? So let's say it's about their relationship to women, and maybe this person has a strong, great relationship to women, and they want to help women advance in the world, whether they're male or female. They want to help women advance to the world, and something deep within them gives them conviction to do so. And it might be the other way around, because Lilith has levels. So Lilith can be highly advanced and want to alchemize her pain, or she could be at level 1 where she still is experiencing pain. And this she happens in men and women, right? So this could be like a person who deals with, you know, really bad feelings towards women. Maybe it's a person who can't have a lot of female friends, or maybe it's a male who like really can't like get in touch with the women in his life, or the women in like in his family or his friends. So it could be a situation where you almost can't access the connection to women because of this deep dark pain, right? Now the other thing is that Lilith can advance and be highly spiritual with Cancerian energy, because Cancer, being a water sign, is highly attached to psychic abilities. like Pisces and Scorpio. But what makes Cancer very different is the need to nurture. So this brings somebody on the level who not just can process, or read people, but they want to help change the world, and they feed the world expansively, right? In a way in which they might actually work through their emotional capacity, or they might work with women to help bring spirituality out into the world. Now, this next thing could be in conjunction to that motive or completely off. Because as we know in spirituality, there's currently still like this battle between being spiritual in your light and then being physical and sexy, right? And so Lilith is an energy that really brings out our sexual energy, and the moon is the hidden aspect to our sexual desires, and like what we don't necessarily tell everybody, so these types can be the types who are a little bit like coming from left field with their sexuality. It's like they're not completely like out in the world and like sexy and like showing off their skin, or they may not necessarily be that way. They might be more like the sweet naive person who is like a real vulture underneath, or like the monk who, or the nun who like practices abstinence, or it looks like they practice abstinence, but really underneath they have like so much desires or secret fantasies or secret partners that they don't necessarily share with the community, right? Overall, there's this allure of somebody who is highly strong intellectually in their emotional capacity. They're emotionally intellectual, and that's also what makes them very sexy. And so you may not necessarily be like, oh, I love their chest, or oh, I love their butt. Maybe some of them you might, but there's something about them that it brings out your curiosity about them, and that's how they can be very sexually appealing. So that is a little take of Lilith Conjunct the Moon. I'm going to call this my part 1, and then we'll go into even more details in part 2. Okay, guys, so I will see you in the next video. Peace and love.